Is Ancaster the best place for you to move to Hamilton, or would there be a better one that better suits your needs? Well, in today's video, you're going to be learning all about what it's like to live there, as I'm going to be sharing with you the top pros and cons of living in Ancaster in Hamilton, Ontario. So let's check them out. Hey guys, so welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Matthew. This is my channel where I share everything about what it's like living in Burlington and the surrounding areas like Ancaster. So if you're thinking about moving to one of the areas around here, feel free to send me a message. I'd be happy to help you out. But in today's video, we're really going to be looking at Ancaster, as Ancaster at one point was its own town, and therefore it has a different look and feel than the rest of Hamilton. And I won't waste any more of your time. Let's just dive on into it and first start with the cons of living in Ancaster. Now, the very first con associated with Ancaster is the real estate, as overall, Ancaster's real estate is the most expensive area in all of Hamilton. And to put a comparison, it is quite comparable to Burlington for the real estate prices. Now, you might get an extra bang for your buck going a little bit further when you buy real estate in Ancaster. However, one of the other negatives about Ancaster is the high property taxes, as the property taxes in Hamilton's communities are much higher compared to Burlington or Oakville. And if we look here, we can see that the average property tax in Hamilton is 1.208, which is about double the Burlington one, which is 0.77. So what does that mean on $1 million home? Well, if you were to purchase $1 million home in Burlington, the property taxes would cost you $7,795. However, that same $1 million home in Hamilton would cost you in property taxes $12,085. So there is quite a bit of a difference. However, in the grand scheme of things about buying a home, it is really not the biggest difference, but still something you should keep in mind. And then the next negative about living in Ancaster is it's very car dependent, as not only are you on the furthest west side of Hamilton, so you're going to need a car to just access all the amenities Hamilton has to offer you. Now, thankfully, Ancaster does give you quick and easy access to the link, which can take you across the mountain, and then you can hit the Red Hill Valley Parkway to go down to the Niagara area, as well as you can get the 403 taking you all the way to Toronto, or you can go out west and go check out London or Brantford in a short drive. However, typically what I find in Ancaster is, one, you're gonna need a car to just do your basic errands and basic needs, whether it's just driving to the grocery store or getting to the gym or even commuting to work. And that kind of brings me on to my next part of this point here, which is Ancaster is a very commuter community, as overall, a lot of people either live in Ancaster and the commute to Toronto is probably the furthest they'd commute typically, but they usually commute to Oakville, Burlington, Mississauga, or somewhere else in Hamilton for work. Now, it's great as you do get to come home and you get to enjoy just great green paths and hiking trails at your doorstep. However, leaving Ancaster during those rush hour times, because there's the bottleneck around the link or the 403, you will definitely get caught up in a lot more traffic. Now, a plus about driving in Ancaster compared to some other areas in Hamilton, especially the older areas, is the one-way traffic, as overall, Hamilton is notorious for its one-way roads, especially on the mountain in downtown Hamilton. However, they're less common in Ancaster, which just makes it slightly easier to commute around. And one of the advantages as well about living in Ancaster is, while it is a car-dependent city, you do get access to all the Hamilton public transportation that Hamilton's community does offer you. Now, the public transit won't be the best in this area here compared to some other areas in Hamilton because you're on the edge of the city. Just there is less public transit options. However, you do still get to capitalize on the amazing public transportation Hamilton City provides its residents. Okay, so now that we talked about the car dependability, the real estate, the property taxes, the next con about living in Ancaster is its snootiness. Now, myself personally, I can say I've only had amazing interactions with anyone that's ever moved or lived in Ancaster. However, doing research for this video here, it seems to be that there are a certain level of snootiness in this here, as you can see with all these Reddit comments from other people living in Hamilton with their experiences of the Ancaster community. But that doesn't mean there's not some amazing people in Ancaster. As like I said, I've only had amazing interactions, but I wanted to keep this video honest, and because of all these Reddit comments, I felt like I had to add it in here so that you knew the full story. But nonetheless, I would not say you should be concerned about it overall, as a few bad apples that caused those people to read those comments is probably the reason, and the majority of people are great people. And then the final negative really about living in Ancaster is really told the nightlife, in the sense that there's really not much to do, as Ancaster does offer some great waterfall trails that we'll talk about in just a moment. However, as for like the bar club scene, there's really not much to do, as Ancaster was once a small town before it joined in with Hamilton, and as a result it resembles Hamilton. It does have a few pubs like the Brassy, which is a great spot that a lot of locals go to enjoy a Friday night. However, compared to a large city like Toronto, the nightlife is really not much in Ancaster, and therefore you're gonna have to be seeing yourself if you want to go enjoy out at night past, let's say, 9 p.m, probably downtown Hamilton to like Hess Village to go enjoy a night out. But those were the main cons about living in Ancaster. Let's take a look at why so many people absolutely love calling Ancaster home and talk about the pros of living in Ancaster. And let's first talk about the amazing hiking trails and waterfalls you have access to your doorstep in Ancaster, as Ancaster's just geographic location is up on the mountain, and therefore you're on the escarpment, and therefore as a result of the escarpment has a lot of different waterfalls that you might just be walking in your neighborhood and stumble upon some absolutely magnificent waterfalls. Some notable ones that are in the Ancaster community that you need to check out is Tiffany Falls, which is not only a great hike in the summertime just to see the falls falling over, but also in the wintertime to see the falls all frozen over. But you also have Hermitage Falls and two amazing trails, the Heritage Trails as well as Bruce Trail, running throughout Ancaster for you to get those big hikes in. So if you want to learn more about all the waterfalls in this section here, as Hamilton, you might not know, is the waterfall capital of the world, I'll leave a link in the description for you to go check out all the waterfalls you could hike to on these beautiful warm days. Then the second pro about living in Ancaster is that small town feel. As like I mentioned, Ancaster was its once own small town before it joined up with Hamilton in the early 2000s, and as a result you still have that old small town charm, as not only do you have a lot of great local businesses with the classic architecture that has been from the 18 and early 1900s, but you also have a lot of friendly neighbors, like I mentioned, willing to support each other in their local business endeavors. Now, not to mention, you also have a wide variety of different events going on in Ancaster Village, whether that's the Great Up Pumpkin Stroll on Halloween, Lobster Fest, the Ancaster Fair, or also their Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the Ancaster Old Mill. But they also have a wide variety of different events that also happen on a routine basis, like its local farmers markets. Now, one thing also to mention here that I know a few clients of mine have pointed out that they really like about Ancaster is that it's not overly developed. As here, you'll be hard pressed to find any high-rise buildings. You might find a couple low-rise, but no high-rise buildings will be found. So it really does give you that small town feel that so many people that want to enjoy that city and that established lifestyle, but still also don't want to give up that small town feel. This is a great melody of the two living in Ancaster. So then the third pro that makes Ancaster an amazing city to live in is all the local farms and farmers markets in the community, as Ancaster was one of the original towns established back in the 1800s, and as a result it has this rich history of a lot of different local farms. Now, my two personal favorite farms are Cranston Farms, where you can go pick up some sweet corn in the summertime, but then also you can enjoy watching the horses gallop in their fields. Now, a word of caution is the horses' fences do have electricity running throughout them, so you can either read the signs or learn it the hard way that they're electrocuted, like myself. But otherwise, it does have amazing corn to enjoy in Cranston Farms. Or you can also go check out Lindley's Farm and Market, also having some amazing produce in the summer and fall months. But also, there's a farmer's market that happens throughout Ancaster in the warmer months, typically from 3 to 7 p.m. every Wednesday. And if you're interested in learning more about the farmers market, I'll leave a link to their Facebook page down below so you can go check out and see any recent updates or if there's any special events happening in the farmers market. Then the next pro about living in Ancaster is all the amazing school options it provides its residents, as because it does have a smaller population, there is definitely less schools associated in Ancaster. However, the options are still great, as there's a total of 9 elementary schools, 4 Catholic and 5 public, and 2 high schools only. Now, if you look through the Fraser Institute rankings, which compares the schools based on their academic performance compared to the Ontario standardized testings, you can find that the Ancaster schools do routinely rank above the provincial averages. So you can be rest assured your kids are going to get a great education. But also within Ancaster's borders, you have Redeemer University, which is a Christian university in Ancaster's borders, like I just mentioned. But also you have McMaster with less than a 10 to 5 minute drive away, depending on how traffic is. But also with McMaster comes some great healthcare, as not only do you have McMaster's Sick Kids Hospital, which is great for treating any kids that are sick, but you also have Hamilton General Hospital, as well as the Cancer Center within just a short drive away. And Hamilton's hospitals are some of the best hospitals in Ontario, as routinely a board sends random people to go in and check out and see how the Hamilton doctors are servicing its patients and diagnosing it on a wide variety of different factors. And as you can see here, with all the awards that Hamilton has won, you can see why Hamilton ranks in the top 10% in the nation of Canada for its healthcare. And then another pro about living in Ancaster is you get to experience all the amazing rich history that happens to be a part of Ancaster. So like I mentioned, Ancaster was one of the original towns in this area here, as it was established in 1792 and it was briefly known as Wilson Mills in British Upper Canada. So even before Canada was its country. And during this time, it was actually the second largest town in Upper Canada with a population of, get this, 1,681. And it's one of the oldest European communities in Ontario. Now, Ancaster's initial growth is due to the amazing geographic location, which is why a lot of people love it, which is the waterfalls. But back in the day, this was great for generating any power that would operate a mill. And that's why one of the best restaurants in Hamilton, Ancaster Mill, is world renowned, as not only does it offer amazing food, but it's one of the original structures happening in Ancaster's borders. So if you have a special date night or a fancy anniversary you want to go celebrate, you definitely need to go check out the Ancaster Mill. And then as an avid golfer, I have to mention a bonus pro, and that is all the amazing golf courses around Ancaster's borders, as not only do you have the Hamilton Golf and Country Club within Ancaster, but you also have Oak Gables Golf Club, which is a 9-hole course. Now, why I personally like this one here is every time you go, you get 2 of the 9 holes, and it could be 1 and 2, it could be 2 and 3, it could be 3 and 2, 3 and 1, whatever it is. So it feels like every time you're going, you're playing a brand new 18, but also you have Knollwood's course, which has the new and old course. So there's definitely something for everyone to go out and enjoy hitting the golf balls in the summertime. So is Ancaster the right place for you to move in Hamilton? Comment down below. And if you're looking for help for one-on-one or just want to learn more about the area, feel free to send me a message. I'd be happy to help you out. And if you're looking for another area of Hamilton that might be right for you, the next video I recommend you go check out are my pros and cons of living in Dundas. So you can go check out that right here. And other than that, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.